This is just an AMZN on Thursday, April 8th, 2021. Take a look at the 5 minute here. Went really sideways, really for a really long time. What is that? 5 hours of going sideways. There was some movement in here. So we gapped up, another gap up. This time we just went sideways for a while, three bearish candles in a row, came into the five, got pushed up a little bit and then sunk through there, held through the 21 or into the 21 really most of the day until that last hour and a half. We dipped slightly below here, went sideways through here, and then it wasn't until later on here that we really broke down and went much further down. But there were some really nice candles that came in here. There was a really nice hammer right here, another one here, and looking at the 3350 call, those hammers actually set up really, really nicely for a $100 risk. The range on them was, this one was $1, this one was a little bit under $1, but you wouldn't be trading the exact candle itself. I mean, you could, and it would have worked on the second one, not the first one, because the second one would have actually stopped you out. So, but I like that there was a really nice base here at around 5, and you really had an opportunity to get in at 5 with a stop down at 4 and get out at 8, and it would have worked for 3 hours. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it's Thursday, so 4 hours. So get in at 5, get out at 9. It actually made it up to 9 on a Thursday with the Friday expiration. So last week it was a little bit different. Is that last week? Yeah, I think it was last week. Yeah, last week was Thursday was expiration day. If you didn't get in on this candle or the next one right as it opened up, I mean, it would have been difficult to get that order in. You could have been setting up a trade to get in after this, with the dollar increments like I talked about yesterday, getting in at 6 and stop at 5. It would not have filled at 10 to get out. Would have come back down to that entry of 6, and you may have gotten out at like 7, like just kind of scalped out. Once it had this candle looking like it was going to break out, this was running into the same resistance on the daily that we were into in the morning. So it really had to push higher and then 20 minutes of sideways before breaking down. Yeah, that just wasn't going to happen. So you should have been trailing your stop, at least getting it up to probably 650, maybe 7 over in here. Probably nicely at 650 below this candle, and would have been trailed out here for a very small gain if you got in at 6. Or if you were in anywhere after 5, 525 even, it wouldn't have filled at 1025, or I'm sorry, at 925, didn't quite get up that high. But still could have gotten a little bit of a win. Probably would have had some slippage with how quickly this candle came back down. It just looks like a fast moving candle. But it put another base right here. Looked like it was going to try and bounce. A little bit of indecision here. We got right back into that indecision right here as we had a little bit of a false breakout, and then it just rolled over. When it rolled over, that was a really good opportunity to get in bearish. So that would have been getting in. Looks like getting in at 10 could have worked here, but 10 by 9 would not have worked earlier. It's really nice to see that it put in a nice base here and then broke down through that, just like it did on the call. It did kind of the same thing on the put, and that would have trapped some folks. So this would have trapped some of the bears, thinking that it's going lower and it wasn't ready to, and then this would have trapped some of the bulls thinking it's going higher and it's not ready to. So just some of the kind of the fake moves there, I guess, of it. This was at one point a really nicely bearish candle and then just totally recovered. And that would have been 20 minutes of selling, which you had done 20 minutes of selling here, you'd done 15 here. This was almost a bearish candle, and I don't know what happened in the 1 minute to see if this went up, then down, then back up, or went down, then up, then back down. So it's just, we just see it on the 5 minute to see that, oh, it ended about the same price. So obviously looking at these now, they're hammers now, but at one point of the day, there were more bearish candles looking like it was ready to break down, and then it wasn't. So that's why obviously it held the 21 here. It was a really good time to buy. This looked like it was breaking out just to reverse, and it was on these candles breaking down here that you could have been getting in. And again, I'm saying it would have still been hard to do this, going off of the candles right then, because well, it just broke out, and maybe it'll break out again, and it's easier to just kind of wait a little bit on these to see, okay, yeah, it's definitely going down, but now I've missed it. So what's my, how long do I have to hold through this? Let me get back into the 21. No, it's not getting into that. How about into the 5? You could have been buying puts over here, looking for a further move down, at least down to kind of the low that it had put in here, which it did. So that would have been, this kind of move on the put, the 3,300 put. It breaks out on the put, rolls back down. It's right back into some resistance here. Now old resistance is new support. You're getting in around 12, maybe 1150, and a stop down at 11 or 1050. And from there, you're looking again for 4 hours. So let's say you got in at 12 and stopped down at 11, would have kind of barely held on because it came down to 1140 on that one, came down 1125 there. So, would have still held that that level, um, you know, retesting old resistance as new support. So if you're in at 12, your target is 16, and it actually made it there on that candle that it was breaking down here, getting into the same lows from earlier. So even on the put, this would have been a really nice setup. I really like the triangle here. Another triangle that I did want to point out is this one here. So I talked about having pretty much the same highs through here. And then rather than drawing another angle line, I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to duplicate this. And sure enough, this angle kind of shows up again. So this same angle, this line that I've had on here for a while, that hasn't really lined up with stuff on this move, but the previous move it had. If you would just drag this line up and connected it to these lows, not the lows here, the lows that really would have been lining up the 21, came right back into that, and then this would really mark your breakdown here. And this would have been a really good place to be getting in at 10 and getting out at 14 for a 4-hour move. Let me zoom out to look at this. So the line I just moved is this one. Let's go see if that lines up with anything else from earlier. So I had lined it up with these lows. It looks like it lines up better with the highs over here and over here. And nothing until it got into kind of the highs from yesterday. And so I think that line works better there. I'm going to get rid of this one because it didn't really line up with anything. I'm going to leave that one there. Wish we had lined it up with the highs instead. And it lined up much better with this one. This is the one that I noticed it, lined it up with the lows, some lows here, kind of ran into the price here, almost tagged that one, and then we broke down. And I just like that angle. I really like that angle. I thought we'd play into it again here, and it looks like we didn't until much more clearly yesterday and today. So we'll see if something else lines up with that better. We'll move it again or copy it again. So I'm just looking now, kind of seeing does anything line up. I guess this a little bit here with the low there. So that could be a nice target. I like this coming back to like 32.50 if we do pull back. Have a little bit more of an S curve. I don't see anything really clearly right now, so we'll leave that off. If we look back out at the hourly, so we were almost up to the 33.30 price. We've had a really nice bullish run. You can see how, oh, that looks really weird. There we go. You can see there's a lot of volume on this candle. Actually, the most volume I've had in a while. Looks like actually a lot of sellers. So this had a lot of volume, more than that. And then this is the next big volume. So looked like we got a lot of volume. We were buying here, even though we traded back down below it. And then we got a lot of selling because this ended up being a bearish hammer, inverted hammer, right here. Looked like we were going to run up. So this is more of like a rest after battle. So if you kind of merge these candles together, or let me say it again, if you merge this candle and this candle together and look at this as a rest after battle, it's going the wrong way. Normally you'd want to see a bullish candle, some bearish candles in the middle, and then another bullish candle, and then go up. This is kind of the opposite. This is a little bit more of a stair step. It looks like it's trying to get its last little move up and get some indecision here, and now it looks like it could come back down some. We've sold off from here before. We sold off through this. If we do gap up again, I think we could run up a little bit more. But this needs a little bit more of a rest. Even from here to here, we had a little pullback. From here to here, a little pullback. That's about the size we're at now. So this is kind of where we're at in terms of range of a little pullback. I think we're just due for another one that's a little bit further down. So I like it back into the blue line or into 3250 where pretty much the red line is. But we're right back into this zone. This zone we were stuck in for a while in here. We had a really nice rally from like 3100 up into this zone, and we stayed in here for a few days before breaking down. If we do something like that again, I mean, we rallied from 3,000, like literally 3,000 all the way up here is incredible. It's a 300-point move. So hopefully some folks are buying down here and you're locking in some profits here. We could still push back up here to this line about 3360, 3370, just like we ran into some of that here, but we're really not too far off of like the 3350 highs that we had through here. And yeah, there was a little bit of a wick up, but trading up to this, pulling back, this looks more like double top through here. We'd start to form something like that and have some bigger moves. But yeah, on the daily, we've been running up for a while. We finally have a bearish day. This was almost a bearish day. Wasn't by 7 cents, but you can see the squeeze is definitely fired, and this could still have some room to run, but I just want a little more of a rest before it does continue up. Otherwise, I think it'll have a much bigger pullback. So that's my thoughts. Hope this helps. This is Justin Amazon. Thanks.